What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Shuggy from Shook Earth Media, and today I thought I'd do a follow-up video on the James Bond film. I did a spoiler-free review. If you'd like to check that out, I'll bring it up in the iCard up there, so if you feel like watching that, definitely check it out. But I will be going through some spoilers here, so if you haven't seen it yet, I don't recommend watching that. Watch that spoiler-free review, and then go see it for yourself. I do recommend the film. I did enjoy it quite a bit. But after seeing it these last couple of days, I have perused YouTube, watched a bunch of reviews, and I found a lot of negativity around it, and I do find it interesting, and I wanted to talk about it. A lot of people are saying, oh, the franchise is ruined, it was disgraceful, and I had to say I completely disagree. I actually have trouble seeing where this is coming from. I don't think that he dies at the end, right? But I don't think that that's the end for the franchise. And these Daniel Craig films, they started with an origin story of sorts, where you see him get his 00 designation in Casino Royale. So it has its own self-contained reality to it. And I think each James Bond film in the past has kind of had its own continuity. I mean, it wouldn't make much sense for it to be the same James Bond that was in the movies in the 60s. I mean, he'd be old as hell now. I mean, he wouldn't be able to do any of these stunts. So, just the fact that he died, I mean, A, they could bring him back. They could find an excuse to bring him back if they wanted to keep the continuity. Or they could just reset it again. And I don't think anybody would have any issue with that. So, I don't see how him dying at the end ruins anything. And people saying that he's, emasculated, I view his noble sacrifice for the sake of his country, his world, his family. I view all of that as a very masculine thing to do. I view that as very noble. So I don't have any issue with that. I don't think it changes his character fundamentally in any way. And I also see a lot of complaints that this new age version of James Bond, who has a lot more emotional depth, and he's a lot grittier. He's not as much about the clever quips and charisma and stuff. I can understand, preferring the old style, and that's all well and good. But to act like this new take on it ruins the past versions, I think is a little absurd. Especially because my dad, he's a super fan of James Bond. He's read all the books. He's a big Ian Fleming fan. He's seen all the films. And he has told me that the darker side of James Bond was always present in the books. He was always a broken man, and he always struggled with his past, his upbringing, and a lot of his infatuation with women is an outgrowth from being so emotionally broken. And I mean, I think it's unrealistic to have this job where he's just killing people all the time and not have some kind of emotional impact to that. So I think that this grounded approach, it really works for me, and it actually seems like it is actually established in the lore of the novels. I saw people saying, oh, Ian Fleming would hate this version of James Bond, and I have trouble seeing it, man. I mean, my dad has told me that the clever quips and the one-liners and all that is very much out of the Hollywood version, the Sean Connery version. And that did influence the novels, and he added that aspect into the novels eventually because the movies were so popular. But to act like that was fundamental to the lore to begin with, I mean, maybe in the films, yes, but I don't think that a lot of these people have actually read the novels. I mean, I've read a couple. And, I don't think that clever quips, the always being positive and all that, I mean, that's the Hollywood sanitization of the character. And that's fine. I don't have an issue with that. But to have this new version of the character that adds more of that depth in, I like it. I think it's better. I think it's an improvement. Now, if they want to go back on that and they want to have... I actually think it would be really cool if the next version of James Bond is this period piece. It takes place in the 60s, and it's more of that fun, zany, one-liner, quippy kind of style. That could really work, and I would enjoy that as well. But to act like this new version of James Bond ruins anything, again, I think it's a little facetious. But I do find this reaction to this latest James Bond a little disheartening. I saw somebody say it's worse than The Last Jedi, and that's just what? I mean, Luke Skywalker's character has a continuity and they undercut his whole character growth. He forgives Darth Vader, one of the most evil people in that entire universe, right? But he finds that love and forgiveness, and he's able to move past that. And then all of a sudden in The Last Jedi, he's given up on everybody. There's no hope for the universe, and there's no establishing why that is necessarily, why he made that change. So I actually would have been fine with the Luke goes to the dark side storyline if it was properly justified, but I feel like it was just completely not the same character anymore. But Luke Skywalker doesn't have many iterations of that character. There's only one version of that character, one through line. James Bond has had many actors play him, many directors, many writers, and they reset the continuity constantly. So I think you could have done literally anything in this movie, and it doesn't change the future of the franchise. For those who missed it, in the credits at the end, it says James Bond will return. So this is not the end of the franchise by any means. But anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. If you guys like this video, please give it a like. Please subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And I hope to see you on the next video. This has been the Shuggy from Shook Earth Media, signing off.